Things are falling apart and coming together at the same time on the chai. Every character is standing at a crossroad: love, power, loyalty, and survival. And episode 5 might be the moment that flips everything we thought we knew. Let's take a close look at where our main characters stand right now, because every one of them is carrying something heavy, and it's only a matter of time before it explodes. Emmett is trying hard to hold everything together: his family, his business, and his loyalty to Douda. But you can feel the pressure building. Running Smokey's barbecue isn't just about food anymore. It's about power, money, and protection. And now that he's tied up with Douda, that protection comes with a price. Emmett wants to be his own man, but he's slowly realizing that when you make deals with someone like Douda, there's no walking away clean. His relationship with Keisha is also feeling the heat. They're still together, still trying, but something's shifting. Keisha sees the danger Emmett's in, and she's not sure she wants to go down with him. That tension is going to matter. In episode 5, Keisha, on her own journey, is struggling to balance motherhood, school, and her own identity. We've seen her strength. She's survived the darkest places and found her way back. But being strong doesn't mean she's okay. There are moments of silence in her scenes that speak louder than words. Her heart is heavy, and her eyes are watching everything. She knows Emmett's changing, and she knows the streets don't forgive. She loves him, but love might not be enough this time. Douda is always 3 steps ahead. Or at least, that's what he wants everyone to believe. But his circle is shrinking, and trust is running low. You can tell even his closest allies are looking at him sideways. He's making bold moves, controlling, intimidating, calculating. But we've seen this before. Kings fall, especially when they don't see the dagger coming. Douda's power is slipping, even if he doesn't see it yet. The more he tries to control people like Emmett and Victor, the more likely they are to snap. And when they do, the damage won't be small. Jake and Jemma are at that age where everything feels like it matters too much, because it does. Jake's trying to grow, trying to be better, but his past won't let go of him. He wants to be more than just another kid from the block. But growing up in Southside Chicago means you're always fighting. Sometimes with your fists, sometimes with your heart. Jemma, on the other hand, is torn between dreams and reality. She's chasing something bigger: a music career, independence, maybe even escape. But that chase comes with loss. These two love each other, but they don't know who they're becoming, and sometimes love just isn't enough. Victor Trigg is in deeper than anyone realizes. His campaign might look clean on the outside, but behind closed doors, he's making deals with the same devils he once ran from. He wants to change things, for real. But politics in the chai is bloodstained. Victor's trying to hold on to his truth, his community, and his family, but every decision pulls him further from who he used to be. And if he loses his way completely, there may be no coming back. Everyone's walking a thin line. Some are trying to escape their past. Some are being pulled back into it. And in episode 5, the choices they make could set off chain reactions that change everything. The tension is tight, the stakes are high, and we're not even halfway through the season. 2,500 characters, paragraph format. You ever feel like a show isn't just telling a story, it's holding a mirror up to life? That's what the Chi has been doing this season. Every episode so far has dropped moments that hit you deep, not just because they're dramatic, but because they feel real. Episode by episode, the pressure is building, and now we're sitting on a stack of moments that are too powerful to ignore. Let's talk about Douda's confrontation with Q's old crew. That wasn't just a power move. It was a message. He's not afraid of ghosts, not afraid of blood, and definitely not afraid to remind everyone who's running the South Side. But here's the thing. Real power doesn't scream. Real power moves in silence, and Douda's noise this season is starting to sound like desperation. When he faced those men, when he looked them in the eye and gave that cold smile, it was more than a warning. It was a sign that he's overreaching, losing control, and in the chai, when a man like Douda gets sloppy, bodies drop. Then there's Emmett's secret meeting. Yeah, the one where he sat in the dark, talking low, talking nervous. That scene hit different. It's one thing to be in the game, another thing to realize the game owns you now. That quiet moment showed more than just fear. It showed that Emmett's back is against the wall, and he's thinking about doing something risky. Real risky. And when a man like Emmett, who's always tried to do right, starts thinking like a corner boy, you know something's broken. Now let's shift to Jemma's breakdown, the one that had her in tears, voice shaking, finally, letting all the pressure pour out. We saw the side of Jemma that's always been there, just hidden behind ambition and big talk. She's trying to be strong for herself, for her baby, for her music, but strength without support can collapse. That breakdown wasn't weakness. It was honesty, the most raw kind. That moment reminded us she's still a teenager carrying the weight of an entire life on her back, and it's starting to crush her. And who could forget Victor's campaign speech? He stood in that suit, clean cut, spotlight hitting him like a preacher on Sunday, but the streets still cling to him. That speech was inspiring, sure, but the real moment was after, when he sat in that car, silent, staring at his hands like they weren't clean. Victor wants to lead, to protect, to uplift. But he's making deals behind closed doors that might destroy everything he's building. That silence after the applause? That's the part that matters most. Lastly, we gotta talk about Keisha's silent struggle. She hasn't had a big blow-up or meltdown, but the tension in her body tells the story. The way she looks at Emmett, the way she watches the world moving around her while she stands still. She's doing everything right, working, mothering, holding her man down. But inside, she's losing pieces of herself. It's a quiet storm, and you know what they say about those. They do the most damage when you least expect it. These moments aren't just entertaining. They're warning signs, red flags. These are the cracks forming in the foundation. And in episode 5, something, or someone, is going to break. You ever hear the saying, it's not about who you know, it's about how close they are when the gun goes off. That's what the chai is showing us this season. Loyalty isn't what it used to be. Friends become strangers. Family turns cold. And sometimes the people closest to you are the ones holding the knife. Every character is caught in these small but powerful shifts, not huge explosions, but quiet degrees of change. One step here, one look there, and suddenly, everything's different. Let's start with Emmett and Douda. The relationship started off like business, but it's become a slow trap. At first, Emmett thought he was getting security, protection, elevation. But the truth is, Douda doesn't give without taking double. Every favor has strings. And now, Emmett is no longer just a partner. He's a pawn. The way Douda speaks, to him now? Calm, cold, controlled. You can see it in Emmett's face. He knows he's in too deep. But does he have the heart, or the plan, to pull himself out? Then there's Keisha. Her loyalty to Emmett is still there. But it's cracking. Not from a lack of love, but from fear. Fear that Emmett's decisions are going to bring danger to her and their son. Fear that he's letting the streets back in. You can feel it when they talk, the way her voice gets quiet, like she's already preparing for the goodbye. Love is still in the room, but trust, that's leaving. One of the most complicated degree shifts this season is Victor and his campaign team. He's making alliances with people who wear clean suits but carry dirty secrets. People who smile in public and scheme in private. Victor's choices are starting to look like betrayals, not just to his old self, but to his community. He's walking the line between being a real leader and becoming the very thing he once hated. The moment he shook that developer's hand, the one he swore he'd never align with, that was the degree shift. Small move, big consequence. And then we've got Jake and Jemma. At first they were ride or die. Now, it's more like drift or divide. Jake's trying to figure out who he is without being someone else's little brother or someone's boyfriend. Gemma's focused on the future, music, independence, something bigger than Chicago. Their love hasn't died. It's just changing. Temperature, cooling, shifting. Like two people standing on slowly separating pieces of ice. They're still looking at each other, but the space between them is growing wider. Even Papa, who's often seen as the heart, the conscience, has been shifting. He's starting to see that being good in the chai doesn't mean you're safe. He's been questioning more, doubting more. And when someone like Papa starts losing faith, that's a spiritual earthquake. These aren't loud betrayals. They're whispers. Their looks held too long, words left unsaid, hands pulled away just a little too fast. That's how the chi does. All season long, the chi has been playing chess, slow, steady, deliberate. But episode 5, that's where pieces start flying off the board. The patterns we've been watching are about to shift. People will make choices they can't take back. So let's get into it. Here are the final predictions for what's about to go down. Prediction 1. Douda gets betrayed from inside his own circle. It's coming. We've seen the signs. Douda's control is slipping, not because he's losing power, but because his people are starting to fear him more than they respect him. And that's dangerous. We've seen Rob questioning him. We've seen Emmett slowly backing away. Even one of his own shooters looked uncomfortable last episode. All it takes is one moment, one whispered phone call, one meeting in the dark, and Douda's empire could take its first real hit. Don't be surprised if someone on his payroll becomes the crack in the armor. Loyalty built on fear never lasts. Prediction 2. Jemma walks away from Jake, the city, or both. Jemma is standing on the edge of something big. Her passion for music, her drive, her pain, it's all building. She's been trapped between being a teen mom and chasing her dreams, between Jake's love and her own freedom. And in episode 5, something's going to push her over the edge. Maybe it's another argument. Maybe it's the weight of everything she's been holding in. But it feels like she's going to leave. Something behind. Maybe Jake. Maybe the city. Maybe both. Her goodbye is going to hurt, and it's going to matter. Prediction 3. Emmett makes a dangerous move, and it backfires. Emmett's done being quiet. He's tired of being Douda's puppet. But we already know, trying to outplay Douda without a plan is like stepping into traffic with your eyes closed. We think Emmett is going to make a move to cut ties, maybe talk to the wrong person, maybe leak something, maybe even try to go behind Douda's back. But here's the catch. Douda watches everything. And if Emmett slips, the cost might not be his life. It might be someone he loves. That's how Douda punishes people. Not through you, through what you care about most. Bonus theory. A ghost from the past returns. This one might be a long shot, or maybe not. The chi loves a quiet comeback. A surprise knock at the door. A shadow stepping out of the fog. Could an old character return? Someone from season 5 or earlier? Maybe even someone everyone thought was gone for good? These streets never forget, and neither does this show. So here's the bottom line. Episode 5 is going to be a turning point. It might not be the loudest episode, but it will be the most important. Relationships will break. Power will shift. And at least one character will walk into a situation they won't walk out of the same. If you've been watching closely, you already feel it in your gut. The tension, the silence before the storm. The chi doesn't just explode, it simmers. And that simmer is about to boil over. Stick around, because the moment we see what really goes down in episode 5, we're breaking it all down right here.